y'all, it's Courtney and I am back with another video. So I'm going to start this out by saying trigger warning. Trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. For all of the normal triggers that people can have. If you are triggered by sexual abuse, if you are triggered by the talk of child abuse, sexual abuse, if you are triggered by mental health talk, that kind of stuff. Pretty much any of the basic triggers, just be careful, because I really, I'm finishing my makeup, I don't want to trigger anybody. Even if you're one of my biggest followers and you watch every one of my videos, if you start to feel uncomfortable, please click off, because my goal today is not to trigger anybody. That's not what I want. So, there's that. Second off, partially the reason why I'm making this video is because this week is suicide prevention week, or suicide awareness, maybe suicide awareness, suicide prevention, I'm not sure which, but I know that it's suicide week, and I've already been wanting to make this video, but I'm not gonna lie, I've been afraid. I've been scared to do it because I know how the fuck you people are. Not my people, but you know what I'm saying. Some of the nasty people out there, we all know how they can be. They will use your past traumas to discredit you. They will use your past traumas against you. They will use your past traumas to make you look like a bad person. Which is very confusing to me. You can't help what's happened to you in life. Well, sometimes you can, but some things you can't help. You cannot change. Believe me, if I could, I'd change it, because this shit has fucked me up for a long time. There's my beautiful Missy. Hey, baby. But anyways, so yeah, I've been afraid to upload this because of that, because I didn't want this to ever be a defining factor about me, or something that somebody can bring up later to hurt me or whatever. But you know what? I need to do this. And not just for other people and trying to help other people come out with their stories, but also for myself. Because I feel like the reason why I talk about the things I talk about on my channel is not just to help other people. It's to help myself as well. Whoa, my eyes look bright. It's actually orange. It's not white. I don't know if you can tell that. But it's not just for myself. Or it's not just for other people. It's for myself as well, because I'm the type of person, the more I talk about something, the more it eases the pain, or eases the trauma, or eases the feelings that I'm having about it. So I feel like maybe if I get this off my chest, it will help me move on, because I've been holding this for 17 years. I've never told this story out loud, the full story. I don't know how detailed I'm going to go into it, because it's still traumatic. This is the first time that I've told this story out loud, everything that happened. When I told my husband, I just told him that it happened, not how it happened, when it happened, nothing. I just told him that it happened. He knew that something was weird, that this guy was a creep, because we know him, he knows him too, and he's actually, I won't say it because I don't want to give away any information of who it is, because I don't know what I'm going to do. But this guy's around. And my husband always knew that he was a creep, because every time I had always said, that guy's a creep, he's a child molester, he's, he shouldn't be around those kids, blah, blah, blah. I've always made comments every time his name has been brought up. And I tried to shove this down for a long time until his name was brought up again. And since then, it's just kind of been in the back of my mind. So anyways, this is the story of how I lost my innocence. I was raped at 12 years old. And for a long time, I felt like it was my own fault. And I acted like it was consensual. But I don't think that it can be consensual when you're 12 and the man's 23, 22 or 23. I don't think that's possible. But anyways, I'll go ahead and tell the story. So, from about 11 to 12, maybe 10 to 12, my cousin and I would go to her mother's house for the weekend. She lived with my great-grandma, because her mom and her dad, neither one wanted her. I hate to say it like that, but they didn't want the responsibility of a child. So she lived with my great-grandmother. But once we got at that age and she didn't have to watch us anymore, she would let us come over there on the weekends. And we loved it at the time. We thought we were so fucking cool because we got to go to my aunt's house and she would drop us off and then leave for the rest of the weekend. At the time, we didn't know this is why, but now we know it's because she had a major heroin addiction. Basically since right after my cousin was born. And she just got clean not too long ago. So about 5 years ago, I'd say. So we didn't know back then. She would always tell us that she had to go to work, but then never come back. So, I mean, we knew that she wasn't just at work, but we didn't really know nor think about what she was doing because we liked the fact that she left us alone. We thought we were cool, you know. We got to do whatever the hell we wanted for the whole weekend, every weekend. We would walk around the trailer park, and this place is notoriously terrible, and she knew it. People call it criminal terrace. That's how drug infested and criminal infested it is. They call this trailer park criminal terrace. And we walked around like we were, you know, the bee's knees, the cock of the walk, you know. We were cool shit because we were allowed to do whatever the fuck we wanted. Nobody could tell us not to because there was no adults there. And it was always cool and awesome and neat and fun until it wasn't fun anymore. Until I got a reality shock or a reality check of why kids should be kids and not want to grow up too fast. Now I know. Back then I thought it was awesome and cool and this and that, and even after this happened I didn't learn. I still thought, you know, I was cool and awesome to be doing drugs and doing shit that I shouldn't be doing anytime, let alone at the age of 12. So she left us there that weekend, and my cousin had been hanging out with this family that lived there. There was like 6 brothers, and she started out hanging out with the youngest brother, which was 16. Not bad, whatever. And mind you, this family, the mom and dad were first cousins. So this tells you how they learned about what's okay and what's not. Obviously, there wasn't good guidance there. Doesn't make it okay, but still. Maybe if they had parents that taught them what was okay and what was not, this wouldn't have happened. But, so, she started hanging out with the youngest one, which was cool, fine, he was 16. Then she started hanging out with the older one. Mind you, I was 12 and she was 14 at the time. And then she started hanging out with the older one, which was 18. Cool, fine, still. I mean, not legally, but, you know, at that age, you don't think it's that bad. An 18-year-old with a 14-year-old, you don't think it's that bad. If that was my kid, I'd flip the fuck out. But at the time, we didn't think it was that bad, you know. But then she progressed all the way up into the oldest one. And he was like 24 or 25. And one day, they invited us over to their trailer, their shack. That's what it was, a shack. There was no furniture in it, nothing. There was a bed in each room, a table, and a couch. That was it. So I think they literally just used it for that. So we went over there because my cousin was into what she was doing. Still doesn't make it okay. Still doesn't make it legal. Still doesn't make it not rape because she was 14. And the guy was like 24 or 25. So I don't give a shit. that's still illegal. It's still rape, in my opinion. But anyways, so I'm sitting on the couch talking to the 22, 23-year-old. Or, yeah, 22 or 23, somewhere in that age range. And somehow he gets me to come to his bedroom. Because I thought that I was all fucking cool and, like, you know, I was grown up and I could do whatever I wanted to. Until it came down to it. And I got scared and I said no. But at that point, it didn't matter. At that point, he was going to get what he wanted because I basically, I wouldn't say I was into it, but I wouldn't say I was being a little tease because, at, 12 years old, what can you really do? But I did let him kiss me. I did. But that's all. And then after that, like I said, I got scared. But it was already too late. He already felt like I had, I guess, consented because I let him kiss me. I said no, but he said, oh, it's fine. Okay, I can't go in to the details exactly what happened. That's still a little too much to think about. It's still a little too much to bring up right now because I just admitted to myself that this shit was wrong not that long ago. I pretended like it was consensual for a long, long time because that was easier in my mind to deal with it that way if it was consensual. If I didn't have any wrong done to me, then how could I be upset about it? You know what I mean? But you guys know what happened. I don't have to say it. I cried. So, even if, I would think that even if I hadn't done a good enough job showing that I didn't want to do anything and me saying no wasn't enough, I think me crying would probably be enough to deter anyone that's not a rapist. But no. So anyways, that happened. And, my cousin and I left that house, and she did the same thing. And, like I said, she wanted to, but it was still rape. She was still only 14, and the guy was, like, 10 years older than her. It doesn't matter if she consented or not. You can't consent at that age. And we never talked about it again. Because my aunt came home the next day. The next day was Sunday, and she came home to take us home, and I told her what happened, and she laughed. She laughed. She was like, oh, ha. I mean, I know she was high off of her ass. Now I know that, but as a kid, I didn't realize that. So I didn't realize that it wasn't it was a big deal, because I was like, well, if she doesn't think it's a big deal, then it must not be a big deal. I must just be feeling wrong because I did something wrong. Or I felt like it was my fault, and I felt like because she didn't care, or she did not believe me. She believed me, but she just didn't give a shit. But I felt like if I told anybody else, they would either A, not believe me, or B, not give a shit just like she did. So that made it even easier for me to tell myself that nothing was wrong with it. Because if she didn't think anything was wrong with it, then how could I say that there was anything wrong with it? She was an adult. She was my aunt. She loved me. So if something bad happened to me, she would do something right. Right? I mean, she should have. But when you're on heroin, fuck that. If something happened to one of my kids and I was on dope, because I quit when I became a mother. Well, as soon as I met Mike, I quit using dope because I wanted to be around his daughter. So I know that when you're on dope, it changes you and it changes what you would normally do, but I would still fucking kill somebody if they tried to touch my child. even if I was on dope. And I know that because I used to take care of my nephews while I was high. And it didn't affect my love for them. It didn't make me love them any less or care if they got hurt any less. I cared about myself less, and it made me not think about things that were on my mind all the time, like rape. So I don't know why she reacted that way. Maybe, I don't know, maybe she didn't believe me. But I just felt like if I told, that they wouldn't believe me, or they would think it was my fault, and it was my fault. I thought it was my fault because I didn't do a good enough job pushing him away. I didn't do a good enough job saying no. I didn't, it was my fault because I was being a tease and letting him kiss me, so that gave him the okay to then get on top of me and, but it didn't. And for a long, long time, like I said, I told myself that it was okay, that it wasn't wrong, it wasn't rape, because, everything was fine. But then this person gets brought up later in my life, and I was almost to the point where I completely forgot about it. It used to be I would get these mental pictures, like flashes in my head all the time of the scene. I would get these mental pictures all the time, just flashes. Like, I don't know if that's technically a flashback, but all the time. You guys know what I'm talking about, like when a mental picture pops up in your head, and I would get that all the time, these mental pictures of this action, and it made me sick. And it made it really hard to tell myself that everything was okay. If everything was okay, then why am I getting these mental pictures and feeling sick whenever it happens? I feel like Ricky Bobby. What do I do with my hands? Sorry guys, I know this is not a jokey topic, but whenever I get nervous, or like when I'm talking about something bad that's happened to me, I the way I deal with it is by joking and making everything a joke. I joke about my depression, because if I don't joke about it, I'll cry about it. If I don't joke about this, I'll cry about it. But anyways, so yeah, I just believed for a long time that everything was okay. But then whenever his name came back up, I instantly just felt sick. And I started leaving little cookie crumbs, like hints about what had happened to my husband. And my husband hasn't ever wanted to hear the full story because he can't. It hurts a man too bad to hear things that have happened to the woman that they love. They don't want to know about that kind of stuff. They don't want to know that ever happened to you, because it hurts them too, to know that you're hurt, because they love you. So if anybody, because I've had this said to me before, that their boyfriend didn't care. It's not that, hold on, let me get back up there. It's not that they don't care, it's that they can't stand to hear something that horrible happening to a woman that they love. And that's the truth. And, so yeah, I finally started dropping little cookie crumbs about it. And then, I told you guys, I finally came out about it because I was warning my daughter of what can happen to little girls when they try to act grown, and they're not. But I still never told the full story. I just told her that it happened to me. And that's the first time that I admitted that it was full-on rape. I had always just commented that the guy was a pervert and this and that. But that was the first time that it came out of my mouth that it was a full-on rape. And ever since then, like, I need to let it go. But I don't know how I can without talking about it, because I'm the type of person, in order to let things go, I've got to talk it out. I've got to get it out. I understand that my husband doesn't want to talk about that kind of stuff with me, because, like I said, it hurts him to hear that. It would hurt me to hear, bad things that happen to him. But us women are more But anyways, so yeah, I this is my first time letting it all out, and it feels good. I'm kind of scared.